Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Special Board of Supervisors meeting. We'll call the meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll open the public hearing portion of our meeting regarding Ordinance 1803, Local Services Tax. Just a little bit of background on this ordinance. This came about as a result of the joint EMS municipal group who's been meeting regarding the funding of the EMS amongst the Penns Valley municipalities. So this came as a recommendation from that group. There are a number of municipalities in the Penns Valley region that will be enacting this tax as well. This was, an alternative to property tax increases, and we looked at a bunch of different options in terms of raising that. Most of the municipalities are looking at a $500,000 equivalent for the EMS. This will not generate the equivalent of a $500,000 for Gregg Township. It's estimated about $12,000, maybe $600. We won't know until we actually collect it. The LST tax for Gregg Township will be entirely designated to the ambulance service, contrary to maybe some misconceptions that were out there. I know there's some wording that seems like it may say otherwise. This is a standard LST tax ordinance here. The LST tax by law does not all need to be designated to emergency services. There's only a portion of it that has to, by law, be given to that. But the intent of Gregg Township for this LST tax is for all of the money that's generated to go to the EMS. So it will be a line item in with tax revenue, and then it will be a line item out as it is then given over to the ambulance service. So at this point, we will start the public hearing comments, and first we have Paula.
Okay, it is my understanding that the purpose of the meeting is to approve the ordinance that will create the LST tax, and the purpose of the LST tax is to have money to give to EMS. But the people who are working for Penns Valley EMS, who are very low paid, are going to have money taken out of their paycheck to help support their employer. I think it's time that Gregg Township sets an example and does the $500,000 tax so that there are guaranteed funds for EMS. Because if Gregg Township is going to have a shortfall in what they would really like to have, and the rest of the municipalities don't come up with what the EMS has requested from them, then we're in the same boat we are now, that EMS is not properly funded, and EMS has got to be properly funded. I don't want to wait for 2 hours for an ambulance to come from somewhere else because my husband is sick. We need the EMS here in Penns Valley.
Ben?
I don't have anything to say, ma'am.
I'm sorry?
Did you just say Ben?
Yeah.
I don't have anything to say, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other comments for the public hearing before we close that portion of the meeting?
Check this.
So we will close the public hearing portion and open the regular meeting. Any public comments? Catherine Smith.
Now this is not apropos of either of the actions that we're here to take tonight, but it's just an updated comment for me. I served on the Gregg 2025 committee. We were convened to look at what the township might do to improve our community, as well as government services. And our review concluded, and I can't remember the year, 2016 or 2017, but concluded our work that better communication was the big need between elected officials, staff, and residents. And we strongly recommended action to improve communication to make government more open. So tonight, it's a real pleasure. I've been away for a while, and it's a pleasure to comment on the outstanding job the supervisors and staff are doing to implement that recommendation. The work that's gotten done in a much shorter time than we expected is really impressive. Transparency is achieved in a really prominent way for me by the new, constantly updated website. I can go there now, I can find out what our policies are, I can find out when we're having a meeting, what the agenda will be. We just didn't have anything like that before. I understand from those who do social media, I'm not one of them, that social media is also being constantly updated. People can find out what's happening in the township that way. The summaries in the Valley Vine reach other people. I think we're covering every possible way of publishing what the township is doing. And it's got to be the case, I believe, this is not my, I haven't done research on this, but it's pretty clear just doing a quick survey of the other townships in the valley. We're doing more for open government than any other township. Excuse me. Voice is not hanging on here. And because that's true, I mean, it's just obvious now that this is something we do seriously, and I'm very proud of that. I'm concerned about the number and character of right-to-know requests for information coming to the township administrators now. I attended the meeting last week, I guess, and I was really startled at the list of requests, and having skimmed them, I'm having it gone through. There's much I want to ask about them. I really don't understand. I do understand that their impact on our budget for services is large. So I asked the same question that we asked in the Gregg 2025 group. How is the community helped or harmed by these requests? And again, this is just my questions, and I will be following up, trying to learn. But for now, given what we are doing and have done, and the clear commitment we're making to open government, I just want to say to the supervisors, and our right-to-know officer in particular, thanks for serving. We appreciate it.
Okay, we'll move on to the business. Local Services Tax Ordinance 1803. Discussion, motion.
I've read this. I have no discussion. I make the motion that we move forward and pass this ordinance.
I will second that.
Any further discussion?
I have none.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. In regard to the ordinance, we need to pass resolution R1812 for the collection of agency. Any discussion or motion?
Make that motion.
Yeah, I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No, not yet.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimous. At this point, we are going to move into an executive session. So we would ask that you all kindly leave the room. It's regarding Appeal 2018-1972, 2018-1973, and 2018-1892. You are more than welcome to wait outside. We'll reconvene the meeting and then adjourn.
And I'm going out to 5 minutes.
I have to wait.
Hit that.
5
thank you all. So we discussed those 3 appeals, and we also discussed employee personnel issues regarding hiring. So at this time, there are any motions regarding the appeals?
Yes, I will make the motion that we take the appeals to the Center County Common Court, Court of Common Pleas through our solicitor.
Through the solicitor's
Yeah,
recommendation.
yeah.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion?
None.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And regarding the discussion on hiring, I make a motion to advertise for the assistant roadmaster and equipment operator position.
I will make that motion just so we have a list of names for the future.
Yeah, I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Anything else for the good of the order?
I have nothing.
No.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second here.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming. Our next regular Board of Supervisors meeting is Thursday, December 13th. Thank you all.
Thank you.